What a fun trip. Quick trip, but definitely a fun trip. Some cool stuff to show y'all. I think you'll enjoy this. Badass old bridge, too, by the way. Going too fast to enjoy much of the scenery, but here we are. And then a little clip through the woods.
If it was hot out, I
You got it. You got to.
but
You
it's
got to.
already cold out.
You got to. It's like 70 right now. Yeah, it's like 74.
These rains out.
I'll show y'all how. You'll see it on my face here in just a second. How hot it is in here. It's so. Whew. Way more prepared emotionally than I was yesterday, but it's still pretty dramatic. I'm like, where's the bottom? Where's the bottom? Oh man, take your breath away. Take my breath away. Found a spring in the middle of the state here in Florida. Not going to tell you where it's at. You're going to have to find your own springs. Super cool spring along a very, very famous river here in Florida. Crystal clear, water super low. We've been in drought conditions for quite a while. So the water's several feet down. So some of the formations that we're getting to play in right now are not normally exposed, and you'd have to dive down a few feet just to get to them in the first place. Pile of baby catfish. Pretty sure most of them were bullheads, little black, brown, and yellow bullheads, and maybe some channel cats mixed in. Brim, bass, crawfish. You can see some of the limestone broken off in some of these areas and then sitting on the bottom. Beautiful, crystal clear water. Amazing white sandy bottom. Water's probably 72 degrees. It was amazing. We had just found this spring like 2 days before, sleuthing around on some of the satellite maps on Google, and then came here for the first time 2 days ago, and then this was our second time back. Brought the snorkel gear this time and spent quite a bit of time just swimming back and forth through this little mini cave. I did this so many times. It's so fun. It's probably only 8 feet deep on the sand right there. There's a little tub area right here that's maybe 10 feet across. Wow, shit, maybe 8 feet across. So I'll come up and then be there for a second and then hop back in the water. Or, like just dive back in the water, go right back under. Look at how, whenever I look up here in half a second, look at just how beautiful this is. And that's the cave as I'm finishing up going through it. Mirror finish on the water. It was sprinkling the whole time. Had the spring entirely to ourselves. You can see these little catfish. Some baby red horse suckers. Baby catfish. Really cool formations that the limestone makes because it's so soft, and that water just rushing through it for all these years. You can see along the edge here, same thing. All these pock marks and stuff. It's just really, really beautiful formations. Just trying to get the split there where you could see under and over. I got it going for half a second. Sunfish, little catfish goofing off. There were so many catfish. So many brim. I think most of those are actually sunfish, but just the assortment of fish was amazing. Baby bass and a brim right there. That algae, I don't think is supposed to be there. That's probably from nitrates. There's going to be a certain amount of algae in almost any situation, but that algae, even on camera, shows up in that rich neon hunter green, I guess you'd call it. Still gorgeous. Super neat too, even if we kicked up a little bit of mud and turbidity within just a few minutes because of the water flow, it would clean everything up. Like I said, just going back and forth through the little cave zone. The new Tusa mask and snorkel, by the way, best snorkeling investment I've ever made. Can't remember how much the snorkel was, but I know the mask was about $100, but worth every penny. Gets a little skinnier here as it gets out to the river here. In just a second, we'll go over this stone dam right here. And then whenever we get outside of it, I didn't get super close, but whenever we get outside of it, you'll see the influence of the river. These Blackwater Florida rivers. See the influence on both sides. It was coming, the current's going from right to left, and it was swirling around a tree right there to our right. And then I'm almost all the way left, and then I'll swing back right now. A little piece of trash. Everywhere you go. We picked up a little bit of stuff, not a whole lot, but we didn't make a day of it. Let's go around. I do need to go over there and pull broken glass out of the cracks of all those rocks, because there's a pile of glass in that spring, which is just mind-boggling to me that people would even think to have glass or break glass in a scenario like that. But maybe it's just all accidents. That's what we'll assume. You can see us going down through the cave again. Here in a few, you'll see me bring my dive light down, and it's awesome, but I was a little bit spooked. It was super neato. So I went one way, and then now I'm going back the other way. Brandon's fin over there. Brandon and Lindsay had come to visit for the weekend. And we had a rain day that was blowing like crazy. So I said, I've got something that I want you guys to see. Look at this with the rain hitting the top of the water. Just absolutely stunning. You can see the cave right there. So pretty. Welcome to Wild Florida. The mirror finish of the top is insane. Like every time I see it, I'm like, wow, it's so pretty. You can see it really well on quite a bit of this footage. Super white sand. It's amazing too, all the little holes and stuff. You'll see here, there's catfish, brim, but inside every nook and cranny was some kind of fish. And you can see that they're all fighting the current, not fighting the current, but like adjusting for the current constantly. This is the cave that goes off to the side. My breath holds pitiful, so I'm only down there for, 5 or 10 seconds at a time. The rain was pretty much nonstop the whole time we were there. But whenever you're in the springs, it doesn't matter. I was freezing at one point, and then your body finally adjusts. And then later on, whenever you're still wet and in the car, you'll get cold again. First little crawfish of the day. Pretty darn well camouflaged. This is another prime example of that mirror finish. And then that icy blue as you're looking off in the distance. Finally went back up to the car, broke out the flashlight. George was not happy about the fact that he needed to stay in the car. But got the flashlight, came back, and some of these little micro caves. This cave's only a couple feet tall and maybe 1.5 feet wide. But was able to take the camera and see those catfish just suspended everywhere. When I was a little bit deeper, the turbidity, it would bounce off the turbidity, so you couldn't really see as much if you were looking further into the caves. But in these little nooks and crannies, it was perfect. The light's almost too bright and kind of bleaches things out because of the darker surroundings, but it's still awesome to take the dive light and check things out like I'm doing here. Just rewatching all this footage and just smiling. I love it. That place is so cool. If you see any crazy crazy creatures in the background, just let me know in the comments. I was a little bit spooked. It's so crazy. Definitely illogical, but whenever you're looking back there, you see some big piece of wood or whatever. There was something in that nook right there that I was like, what was that? This is another one of those little catfish caves. And again, this thing's only like 1.5 feet by 1 foot at the most. Sandy bottom. Just loaded up and them suspended, just gently working the current in there. See these crawfish. Another one there in the center of the screen. Then off to my left is another one in the bottom right here. He starts to back up. He's like, whoa, too close. They're so neat. Colors are amazing. Fly sight was a good move, for sure. Definitely got to remember to bring that with me next time I go to any of the springs. Because even if it's super bright outside, just looking under a ledge and being able to illuminate everything is neat. And some of the colors, like that orange, probably some crazy red algae or orange algae that's making that coloration, I'm guessing. Or maybe it's rust in the spring water. No idea. But the colors are just absolutely gorgeous as they gradient from one tone to the next. All those baby cats. I just kept going back. It was so neat. You'd think like, oh, okay, cool. I've seen it, been there, done that. But just kept making circles in the spring and just looking at everything over and over and over again. We were there for a couple hours total.
That was pretty awesome. George, I'm sorry you had to stay in the car, Bubba. That was bullshit, Dad.